Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. What's Paulie Malinaggi's story? Somebody help me understand. The champ has gone from being highly respected and still seen and revered as a champion. A guy with a whole lot of heart. Seeing a guy who's caught up in chaos and having a whole lot of balls. But also, there's a whole lot of taking it to the stupid going on with Paulie Malinaggi. I'm telling you, I don't understand what has got this man doing this bare knuckle bullshit, man. He went out here this past weekend, all right? He got into a situation with a guy who was pretty seasoned with bare knuckle fighting. And Paulie Malinaggi came out that fight. He couldn't see out of one of his eyes. Some of the vision's coming back, but it's still foggy. You know what I'm saying? When you look at his face, the first thing I thought about was the chick that I have pasted in the thumbnail when I saw her do an interview. Someone zipped her ass, and she was like, "Oh, it was a great learning experience. I enjoyed every moment of it." You enjoyed every moment of what? Getting your teeth knocked out, man? You know she went home, her husband, and kissed her in the mouth. I mean, that shit was like a couple years ago. I'm sure he still ain't kissing her in the mouth. He ain't letting her do nothing with that mouth on his ass. But with Paulie Malinaggi, I just don't understand. Let me tell you something. There's got to be a reason for him doing this sport. And he's not going to come out and divulge to us the real reason behind what he's doing, because it won't be justification enough for the boxing fans. But at the end of the day, Paulie Malinaggi is a guy who does what he wants. But he doesn't seem to be the kind of guy who likes to work harder. He likes to work smarter. And trust me, if it's about money, this shit that he's doing is a lot harder. But maybe it's the kind of money they're paying him. I did some research. I canvassed the internet. I couldn't get any specifics on how much money he made. But he doesn't look like he got in there and fought just another guy, a bare knuckle boxer. He looked like he got in a fight with Freddy Krueger. And Freddy put them razors on his ass. Now, Paulie Malinaggi is a guy who's always been known, one, to be devoid of power. Two, to have brittle hands, have hand problems. So when you think about that, as a true boxing fan, right? What sense does it make for him, a guy who's, pillow-fisted, by his own admittance, he doesn't have the most power. But also a guy with these brittle hands. So he has brittle hands. Sorry, I took it to the stupid, right? Brittle pillow hands. And he's doing bare knuckle boxing. I don't care how flashy he looks, how much shoe shining, the combinations, how fast his hands look. All that shit that he's landing on the bare knuckle guys, that's nothing but coochie cooing, chicken pecking, and tickling those boys. And when they land on him, they hitting him with that guzza, 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 rat-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Dropping bombs on him. And they fighting dirty. Because Paulie was tattooing the guy up. I watched the fight. Guy poked him in the eye, hitting him in his damn kidney. Got a headbutt. Why do you want to do that? Now, where is this I just pulled up here on Paulie Malinaggi, right? Because that shit makes no sense to me. Now, Now check this out, right? This is Paulie Malinaggi. The man had 44 professional fights, 7 KOs, 8 losses. 5 of those losses were by knockout. 5'8", 71-inch reach. Okay? Now, his last fight was 2017, his last pro fight, okay? Where he lost by a body shot. Is there a demand to see Paulie Malinaggi back in boxing? I don't know. But for me, why not just box? Why put yourself through this? Now, Paulie Malinaggi did have some moments in there, but the other guy came back. He landed some hard shots. Paulie Malinaggi said once he got poked in the eye, kind of, that really bothered him and allowed the other guy to come back and land some hard shots. But for me, me, man, I'm all about the conspiracy theory. The only thing that could be bringing him back, to me, it ain't even really the money. He must have got himself in a entanglement with some people to where now he has an obligation to come and do these fights. Now, I know he mentioned he wants to go back to Italy and live, but he still wants to maintain his quality of life here in the United States. So if he has properties or whatever it is he has going on, he want to make sure he can sustain that. So doing a few fights over here in the Bareknuckle League, that will give him the money, is what it sounds like, to have the life that he wants. But let me tell you something. What Paulie Malinaggi is doing to himself, he ain't going to be able to enjoy none of that shit. Now, I'm going to tell you something. As a retired guy, I retired at 43 years old. Okay? I was going to continue till I was 49 and then be done. But once I had my first son, I wasn't the same. I was like, I'm tired. Fuck this shit. When I can retire, I'm gone. And something led to something that I was able to go ahead and had a little bit of help to just walk away and retire. And I haven't returned to work since. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still doing things to make money. And we can talk about that in another video. What I'm doing, all of y'all can do. But there's no reason for me to go back. When I retired, my face used to twitch. My hands were swelling up. My hands were twitched. I had migraines, man. I felt deep down, if I would have continued working, I would have fucking had a heart attack or something, or an aneurysm. Because I'd be sitting there talking and my face just be twitching. And sometimes people are like, yo, you all right? I said, yeah. I said, you see that? I said, you see my face spasming? I used to make jokes about it. But I was concerned, so I go to my primary care manager. I'm like, hey, the hell's wrong with me? And I was sitting there talking to her, and my hand would just be, she's like, you may have something nervous going, must be something wrong with your nervous system. And she was like, you need to get that, we need to do some testing. Long story short, 6 months after I retired, nothing was wrong with me. Nothing. As far as that shit. But there's all kind of other shit going on with pain and, all the other things, arthritis and tears in my shoulders and chest and all kind of shit going on. I was a real active guy, you know what I'm saying? I'm still active, but not the way I was when I was younger. Running marathons, boxing, powerlifting, all that shit, playing sports. It takes a toll on you. So I say all that to say this. If I haven't returned to work, and I don't need to, we ain't missed a beat over here. I got a family of 6, my wife, myself, and my 4 sons. And we in the breeze. So if I'm not doing it, when I look at a guy like Paulie, and I'm pretty sure he's made, at minimum, at least $15 million across his career. He's a smart guy. I heard him giving Adrian Broner tax advice and talking about sometimes after a fight when he'll pay his taxes, he was like, holy shit, I can buy a house with the money that I'm paying back to the IRS. So he was a smart guy, was smart with his money. You can't make me believe he's fighting because he needs the money. I'm not in his pocket. I don't know. But what I'm getting at is, for me, I had a lot of opportunities, especially first 3-4 years after I retired. Friends reaching out to me. We got this government job here. Hey, you could come overseas here. 80,000 here, 250,000 here. All kind of shit was being thrown at me. And I just didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I said, let me focus on my kids, my family, and my health. And that's why I be out here, man, putting on my magic vest and running and doing all the things I do. I talk boxing because it's therapeutic. So I've created a very healthy environment for myself. If you want to get me to come back out here and work and take on unnecessary stress, that puts me back in a situation where now all of a sudden my face is twitching again. I got migraines because my commitment level is ridiculous. If I know I have to do something, my sons, man, they feel the burden. Like, they feel the burden of that shit. We got to be somewhere. We're going to be on time. It ain't no getting there 5 minutes before. We're going to be there about 30 minutes before, 15 minutes at the latest. Be there early. I don't F around with that. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm going to do something, my youngest, he getting a little older, it's got to be something to where it's like I just can't turn it down. And I'll sit down, we'll have a family meeting, I'll tell my wife, tell my sons, hey, Daddy love you. I don't want to miss no time with y'all, but this is what we got here. And we'll collectively have a discussion. And we'll come up and we'll collectively agree as a community. Yeah, Dad, don't pass up on that opportunity. Go do that shit. And of course, I'll be spoiling the shit out of them. But still, there will be some reluctance on my end. So when I see Paulie Malinaggi doing this, I'm like, it has to be something that's so juicy that he's willing to risk his life. Because, yo, that's what you're doing when you get in a boxing ring. This bare knuckle shit, that shit is real. Very dangerous, very volatile, brutal. But no one can get me to understand why Paulie Malinaggi, who hasn't fought in a professional boxing match since 2017, I think it was like 4 years ago, he fought the one bare knuckle match and he lost. But you can't get me to understand why in the world he's out here doing this to himself. Yo, Paulie Malinaggi is gonna end up getting killed. All right, I'm just talking straight. I don't need nobody to tell me, you're wishing bad on him. No, I'm not. Paulie talks to straight. He's a straight shooter too. Paulie ain't stupid. You keep fucking around out there with them guys, you're gonna get killed, man. He's getting hit repeatedly with a bare fist, basically. It's called bare knuckle fucking fighting. Round after round after round. That's not normal. Every round, he sustains micro trauma. All those fighters do. Paulie Malinaggi already had an extensive boxing career, getting hit in the face and all over his body, experiencing micro trauma. He is now getting hit basically with like effing hammers, man. Getting headbutt, getting ribs broken. What the hell are you doing in your mid-40s after a very successful boxing career where you made multiples of millions of dollars out here doing this bare knuckle boxing bullshit? I don't want to hear nothing about, he still has superior footwork and ring generalship. He was able to evade some counters. The Magic Man was turning this guy's face into a crimson mess. All of that sounds good. It sounds good. But I'm just telling you, he can't keep this going, man. And he's very fortunate he racked up an early lead. But Paulie Malinaggi can't keep this going, man. He may have weathered the storm, but I tell you what, he may not be able to stand the rain in the next fight. Because this storm was bad. It may just be a little bit of rain next time. And he can't handle that shit. I can't remember which fighter it was. I was watching a documentary. There was an individual who was boxing, and he took a lot of damage in the fight. Anyway, he left out the ring, went home, had another training camp, was getting ready for another fight. When he got in the ring, for that subsequent fight, it was like the first hard shot or something he got hit with, and he was out of there, gone. I can't remember who it is. But what I remember, and this is what I'm telling you is a fact, right? I just remember when they were talking about it, what I remember specifically, right? Very vividly too, because I remember watching the guy when he was talking about it. The healthcare professional, right? If he was a neurosurgeon or what he was, I can't remember that. But he said essentially that the guy in the prior fight, he had taken so much damage to the point to where his brain had started to, the way he worded was like started to detach a little bit, and it was just being connected by this tissue, very thin tissue. And he said he believed it was what happened with the guy. It just took that one shot to hit him, boom, and the brain, the tissue detached, and that tissue that was connected, which was allowing him to function normal. He said the guy had no idea he was in that position. He wasn't having headaches, none. He was functioning normally. But they said that it's just that shot that hit him, and when it wasn't a CAT scan. I can't remember the whole thing. I just know that what they discovered was that the brain had become just totally separated from whatever tissue that was keeping it. I don't know all the medical terminology, but just know it was a tissue, the brain connected, and the thing just was detached. So when I'm watching Paulie Malinaggi, I'm like, nah, man. I know some people don't like Paulie Malinaggi. He's got a big mouth. He'll tell you he's got a big mouth. That's why he like commentating, because he gets to be himself and just run his big ass mouth. And some people don't like him. They think he's a racist and shit. You know what I'm saying? He'll tell you people think I'm a racist, but I'm not a racist. It's because he feels he speaks the truth. But I don't want to see none of these fighters get themselves hurt. And out of all the fighters out there right now who I watch, Paulie Malinaggi is one where I'm watching like, he's going to get hurt, man. He's one. Deontay Wilder's another one where I worry about that guy. I'm like, yo, just stop. Because it just doesn't make sense for Wilder to be in there with these giants and getting bing like he did by Zhang. And when he fought Tyrell Herndon, I actually know him. Tyrell Herndon caught him with a good shot and buzzed him. Wilder even told him, man, you had me. You should have finished me off. This is what Wilder told him. And he could say, that's blue hat. No, it's not. I fucking know the guy. And there's a lot of things I know, but I wouldn't discuss it on here because shit is told to me in confidentiality, so I'm not going to say it. But I know quite a bit about a few things. I'm asked not to talk about it. I worry about Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? Just getting himself into another fight with maybe somebody who can land something hard and hurt him. But for Paulie Malinaggi, look, the guy, he has nothing to prove. He got a big mouth, but he got a big ass heart, and he got some big ass balls. Because, what other, Austin Trout is doing it, and Austin Trout was a champion. But these other guys, they ain't doing that shit. That's why it's so important to make sure you manage your money right. But I wish the fly on the wall could talk so they could explain to us why in the world Paulie Malinaggi is out here, doing this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm going to go out and do some more videos. I just wanted to come out here and touch on this because, a lot of respect for this guy. 44, 45, something like that. Getting up off the couch and deciding he's going to do bare knuckle boxing. I don't know what kind of money they're making. He making. I hope they're paying him multiples of millions. Because you shouldn't have to walk around like that. And he just talking about possible bleeding behind his eye. My man, bleeding on your brain. So let's see what he does next. But it sounds like he's going to keep doing it. And if you can't keep those guys off you, this is bare knuckle. Someone hits you, this shit's gonna hurt, even if it's Paulie Malinaggi. But those guys are their absorption tolerance, punch absorption tolerance is on a different level. So if they're getting hit by guys who can crack and just eating those shots like grapes, oh, they're gonna be glad to find out they fighting Paulie Malinaggi. I think the next guy he fights is gonna just run through him. Unless Paulie Malinaggi is smart about his opponent selection and he gets somebody who basically he don't have to worry about too much of that. But anyway, dangerous sport. There's no kidding. There's some Jean-Claude Van Damme blood sport shit going on here. Yo, good luck to Paulie Malinaggi. From champ to chaos. Gone too far. Just stop. That's my advice to him. He ain't gonna listen to me. He's like, who the hell is this guy with the fisherman cap? Stop before you get killed. Shit ain't worth it. But who knows what he done got himself tied up into. Maybe he can't. Maybe he has to do it. I don't know. But one thing I do know is I'm in the breeze.